Guys, I just got scammed and I can't believe it. I didn't see that coming. Canada has literally become the ghetto. These scammers keep coming up with new tricks every single day. Let me tell you what happened. Later on in this video, I would also share some popular scams in Canada so you can be very careful of them. I would also appreciate if you can leave a comment below sharing any other common scams that you know, experiences you've had, or victims you've heard of, so that everyone can learn and be aware of them. Anyway, let's get to my story. I recently got the iPhone 15 and I used to use the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So I decided instead of keeping two phones, I might as well just sell one of it. Which, thinking about it now, I should have probably kept that phone because I'm a content creator and there is nothing wrong with having two phones. But I just felt I didn't want to go around with two phones all the time. Let me just sell off one. Now, that was the beginning of the problem. I decided to put this phone on Facebook Marketplace to sell it, and I was getting different offers every single day. Most times some people offer lowball offers, sometimes it was good offer, but eventually I got someone that was going to buy it for the price that I have listed, which was $600. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. The phone is really nice. It's a 256GB phone, no scratches, very crisp phone. Honestly, there was nothing wrong with that phone, and I decided, okay, yeah, the price point is good, come get it. Then someone sent me a message. The person I eventually went with sent me a message that they were going to come get it from me. The first red flag was that they were coming at night, but that wasn't really a bad thing because I've sold things at night before and it was okay. So I gave them the address to come pick it up, which I've also done in the past, and nothing wrong happened. So they came around, and at that point in time I was doing something. I think I was in a meeting or so. Then I asked my brother to go give it to them downstairs. Oh yeah, just give it to them and collect the money or in transfer or whatever. Then before the guy came, he had mentioned that he'll be paying with cash, which I was like, okay, no problem, because I mean, I've done cash transactions in Canada. Tell me why this guy came around, got to the lobby, but he left and came back again. I said, oh, I've been waiting for you, I told him my brother was going to meet him there in a bit. So they met up, he checked the phone. He didn't really investigate the phone as much like you would do if you're actually buying a new iPhone or an iPhone from somebody peer-to-peer. He didn't investigate it as much. The only thing is he wanted to see that the iCloud was logged out and that the phone was working, and that was it. So my brother had to be telling him, oh, this is how this phone is, this is the case. And he was like, oh, no problem, it's okay. I don't really use an iPhone, I'm just getting it for my girlfriend. And my brother was like, okay, cool. He gave him the money, which was cash, $600, $100 notes. Then my brother called me to ask if it was okay to collect cash, and I was like, yeah, sure, cash is fine. Then immediately he got back to me. He said like he didn't know, he just didn't feel easy with the guy. The guy acted uneasy and all. And then we looked at the cash. That moment I was like, then he was, that's my brother, he was telling me that, I've never done cash transaction here in Canada, are you sure? What if the cash is fake? And I was like, nah, cash, like, it's very rare for that to ever happen. Do you think, yeah, like, it's not possible for it to be fake cash? I've never heard of that. And we looked at the cash, and I actually had an $100 note next to me. I compared both and we're like, it's actually fake. We compared it closely again, and it was like, damn, and I was thinking about it, like, I was so sure that it could be possible that it was fake. But I called you and you're like, cash is okay. And I was like, I didn't think that this could ever happen. So we decided, okay, now we can actually tell that the cash is quite different from the real one, but we wanted to be 100% sure. So we went to an ATM to try to deposit the cash to my account. Lo and behold, the ATM rejected the cash. We tried it again, it rejected the cash. So at this very moment, it was clear that it was fake money. So I went back to Facebook to try to see. Apparently, right there and there, after the guy collected the phone, he had removed me from the chat. So he left and blocked me or whatever he did. So I couldn't see his profile anymore. The only thing I could see was the previous conversations that we had. I called the police. They said, okay, we'll come get the cash from you and we'll investigate the situation. How did you know it was fake? I told them I took it to an ATM to try to deposit it and it couldn't go through. The next day they called me that they were coming to get the cash. I was like, oh, I'm busy today. Then they asked if I could drop it off. I said, absolutely not, you have to come get it, it's your job. And eventually they came to get the cash from me, which, thinking about it now, I understand why they had to get the cash from me in a hurry. They didn't want me to feel like, okay, maybe be tempted to spend the money, which in a way it's just been, I don't know, it's sauce, because they were not like trying to help me get the scammer. They just wanted to take off that cash from me, and that's what they did. They collected the cash from me. They didn't even wait to get the CCTV footage, which is available at the building. After like a couple of weeks, several weeks later, they called me to ask for the phone number of my building concierge. I gave it to them. That was when they just reached out to get the footage. By that point in time, it's like several weeks. Eventually, they called me after a couple of days later and said, hey, we're so sorry. We looked at this case. The CCTV footage didn't provide like a facial description of the guy. We couldn't actually see who he is, and unfortunately, we'll be parking this case. And that was it. I lost $600 there and then. I'm so pained. I was like, I couldn't get over this. Like, it was so freaking painful. Now, $600 is not a whole lot of money, but it's also a whole lot of money, right? But I'm just thinking, like, how would this person risk their life to come pay for something using cash, fake cash that you know? What if we actually found that it was fake? Like, you could have been beaten blue black. But anyway, this is just to bring to your knowledge that there's a lot of fake cash out there. I literally saw a tweet recently where someone actually listed fake cash for sale as a way to help people to make ends meet. Like, I don't know where this country is going to, but I also want to use that opportunity to bring to you common scams in Canada so you can be aware and protect your hard-earned money. The first one is job scam. I feel like this is typically targeted towards newcomer and sometimes even people that are desperately looking for a job right now. So they would literally send you like a fake job offer. The funny thing is, sometimes you even do an actual job interview, you have a chat with them, they send you an offer, then you now move on to a stage where they probably send you a fake check, or they would also offer you things like flexible hours, work from home, all of these sweet benefits to lure you in. And because you're desperately looking for a job right now, you probably go for it, then only for you to find out later on that it wasn't actually a real company, or it's a real company that is being disguised under a fake company. So this is an example of scam that you have to be aware of, which ties into the next kind of scam in Canada, which is check scam. This company, sometimes it's usually those jobs, they will send you fake checks and ask you to deposit the check into your bank account. And you know, when you deposit a check, it typically takes around 5 business days for the check to completely clear off. But because these scammers, they know what they are doing. Once they send you the check, then they'll ask you to buy some equipment and tell you that, oh, maybe you were overpaid for something. Then you have to send them the balance back in form of gift card, or maybe you can send them like, they just have other ways that they want to get back that money from you. So if at all you ever find yourself in this situation and they're telling you that they are sending you a check, beware of it. If you are buying or someone is paying for something to you using a check is not even a means of payment that you should accept, to be honest. You would have sold that item and the check would not clear until 5 days. What happens eventually is the bank would flag that check and your account would be sent in negative. Now you would now be responsible for paying off that check from your own pocket because that check was originally not real. Up next is CRA scams. This one, they are also targeted towards newcomers. So a lot of newcomers, you have to be aware of these scams. CRA would give you maybe a call or send you a text message telling you you're owing X amount of dollars and you're going to be in trouble. They're going to send you out of the country or deport you, or maybe you filed your tax incorrectly, something like that. You get those messages and they'll ask you, or calls as well, it's usually calls sometimes, and they would ask you that you owe X amount of dollars, you should pay using this link, or you should send them your credit card details. Be very careful. The CRA would actually never call you. And for context, CRA is Canada Revenue Agency, which is like the tax regulatory authority in Canada. They would never call you. If at all they need to communicate with you by any means, they'll send you an email. They wouldn't even send you an email with the issue. They'll send you an email letting you know to log into your CRA account, as there's a message waiting for you there. So if anybody calls you or emails you or texts you that you're owing X amount of dollars or something, just beware, because it's usually fake. So the next kind of scam is immigration scams. These are usually targeted to people before they even move to Canada, and even sometimes people that are already in Canada as well could be a victim of this kind of scams. It's usually by people that would say, oh, you get a visa and they'll offer you job as well as residency, all of these things. No, These people don't have control over you getting any study permit or residency or PR or work permit in Canada. It's not within their control. The only thing any immigration agent or consultant can do for you is to actually submit an application. However, they don't have any control over whether the application will be approved or rejected. So be sure to check that they're a licensed immigration consultant or agent before even working with them. Up next is credit card scams. Most times this ties with identity theft. Sometimes they would have access to your personal information and they will go ahead to apply for credit cards in your name. This is why you should always check your credit reports to make sure there are no credit accounts in your name that you have not even opened in the first place. And there's a website that I'll recommend to you, which is ClearScore. I'll also leave the link in the description. It's absolutely free. Go sign up. You can get your credit report and also monitor your credit score from there for free. So what this scammer tend to do is, because they have your personal information now, they would go ahead and apply for credit cards in your name. And now, because you have not been checking your credit report from time to time, you would now be responsible for paying that credit card debt or bill or something. You end up in collection and you start wondering years later that how did this come about, and you end up being responsible to pay. So you want to make sure you're monitoring your credit report from time to time to prevent any kind of fraud or scam that could potentially happen to you. And let's not also forget about online shopping. Sometimes when you're shopping from all these websites, you want to make sure it's an online store that is secured before putting in your credit card details there, just because they can skim your credit card number and start using it for other malicious purposes. Up next is delivery scam. This is usually done with names of courier companies like FedEx, UPS, Canada Post. It will come in form of a phone call or a text message where they will tell you, hey, you have a package for delivery and you currently owe X amount of duties and taxes. Most times it's not real, most times it's fake. And the problem with this kind of thing is sometimes they come up with just random tracking number and they can see your details online with your names and your address, and when they say this to you, you start to feel like, oh, maybe it's real. Then you start to ask, oh, how can I actually pay for this duties and taxes? And the truth is, because I've worked in DHL in the past, I do know that yes, they can actually call you when you have a package for delivery of it, or if you're owing duties and taxes. And they also have a means of payment where they can take payments over the phone. So this is a bit tricky for people that are trying to beware of this kind of scams. So you want to make sure that if you're not expecting any package and you get such calls, avoid it. This is definitely a scam. And if at all you get such calls and it seems that, okay, maybe you are expecting a package, maybe go online to pay. And don't go online using the link that was sent to you in the text message. You have your tracking number from the vendor or wherever you have purchased the item. Go directly on the courier website to track the item and see if you have duties or taxes to be paid. Don't follow any of the steps or emails or something that they have sent to you, because it could be a scam. Next is phishing text messages. The other kind of scams that I've mentioned earlier sometimes will come in form of a phone call, an email, or text messages. But I want to specifically highlight this one because it's very, very common. You will get a lot of text messages. You literally just got a new phone number today. That same today, you will get fake text messages claiming to be CRA, it could be FedEx, it could be UPS, it could be an employment, fake job text message, it could be a fake recruiters as well, telling you that they have like an opportunity for you, that you're getting headhunted. And it's just crazy because I know that recruiters could actually call you or send you a message if they are unable to reach you by phone call. But most times, I'll put a video here that I saw from Faye Mark, that's like example of these typical text messages that you get from time to time, and a lot of times it's usually fake. Sometimes they would have a link in there that directs you maybe on the website to pay some amount of money, or sometimes it could also be a fake payment message. Just be very careful of those type of messages. Once you see them, just delete and block the contact so that you never have to deal with them again. Now, the reason why I called it phishing is because sometimes these messages looks very similar to the types that you get from maybe the delivery company, the courier company, and the links that you'd see there are usually very similar to the websites that you'll probably be paying for a courier, or you would like a tracking website for FedEx. So if you even follow the link, it could be something like that. Other time it could be like they're sending you to a link to download some malware onto your computer or your phone. It could also be a link that looks very similar to the website of the courier company, and just because it looks similar, you'd be like, okay, yeah. Or maybe your bank, that's also another popular one. It could be linked to your bank Amazon and you see it and they say, oh yeah, this looks like Amazon, this looks like my bank account. You log in, you put in your information there, and that's how they skim your details. Next one is benefit scams. This is very similar to the text messages because it will come in form of text messages most times. They'll tell you won a prize for something, or maybe your childcare benefit didn't come through because of XYZ, and they put a link in there asking you to click on this. Be very careful. If you actually won a prize or something, there will be other ways for you to be communicated with. It wouldn't come in that form. And if it's starting to seem like they are begging you to take the benefit, you just know this is not real, because yeah, I know I got a prize. Why are you pressuring me to take it? Be sure to verify the legitimacy of such text messages. It's also very possible for you to receive fake Interact messages as well, fake Interact emails. All of this falls into the phishing scam. You just have to be very, very careful and beware of them. Next is rental scam. Rental scam is common and is targeted towards people that are definitely looking for a new place or looking to rent a property. They would list an apartment online that most times is usually a real place. They put up the picture, but the prices, or sometimes it's usually below market price, but most people are looking to get a good deal and they will go for it. Then they tell you, hey, come for showing, or they can only do virtual tour, and you end up saying, oh yeah, I'll go for it, I like the apartment, and you send a deposit or you send your first month rent, only for it to turn out that it's not a real home. Sometimes they could even allow you go for showing, only for you to even pay, sign the fake document, and it turns out that it's not, they have no affiliation to the property. How did they get in? You can't explain it. Sometimes I don't know how they get in, because these people, they are very, very smart with their ways, and this commonly happens on platforms like Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, any platform that you are literally looking for rent. It could potentially happen there. So if you are looking to rent a property, I would advise you to be very, very careful. Pay close attention to it. Is it priced super low? If you're a newcomer planning to come into Canada and you're looking to rent before moving here, this could also be targeted towards someone like you. So if you have someone here that can actually go look at the property, that would be really, really good for you. If you don't, maybe you can just get an Airbnb or homestay to stay for the first couple of weeks or days before actually going to rent a property, because once you pay your ad-end money to these scammers, it's gone. Don't depend on the cops or the police. They will not help you with anything. So it's very, very important for you to be very careful with your money. And lastly, we have payment scam. Payment scam is very common. It could be in form of the fake check scam. It could be in form of fake Interact emails. You want to be sure that if someone is paying you for anything you are purchasing or you're selling to them, make sure that when they send you that email that says, oh, the funds has been deposited, make sure you're actually checking your bank account to see that the money is there. If you have auto deposits, check your bank account. If you don't, try to deposit the funds. And also check the email. It has to come from Interact. If it's coming from like a fake email address, be very careful of it. Sometimes the email would look exactly like the ones coming from Interact, but it could be fake. I've gotten that a couple of times, and it's mostly when you're trying to sell something on Facebook or you're trying to pay for something else. Then they'll tell you, oh, don't worry, just mail it to us, I'll send you the payment, and it's usually fake. This doesn't mean that I have not received real Interact payments. I have a lot of times. It's just that there are usually bad eggs out there that will perpetrate this kind of scam, so you have to be very careful of them. One of the other ways for payment scam is through a credit card schema. This is a kind of machine that looks very typically like a POS machine, and they have installed like a schema that extracts your credit card numbers, and once you punch in your PIN as well, they just take all your information and they can start using it to scam you as well. So you want to be very, very careful, because that way they have all your credit card numbers and they can perpetrate any kind of fraud with it. You typically find these credit card schemas at places like convenience stores, gas stations, some stores as well. Sometimes it's usually even the employees of that store that would have installed the schema on top of the payment machine, and you wouldn't know because it looks very similar to the POS. And once you insert your card in there, they take out all your numbers. So how do you prevent that from happening? You can try to pay using your phone, that's your iPhone, using the Apple Pay, or your Android using Google Pay. You can also use your credit card, but instead of inserting the card, tap. That would also prevent that from happening, because it's a contactless means of payment. And if it's a value that is above the amount that you can tap, be very careful to take a look at the machine and make sure that it doesn't have a schema on top of it. If that happens, be sure to report to your bank as quickly as possible so they can destroy that card and provide you with a new one. Now let's get into how do these scammers actually get your contact information for them to use to call you, email you, send you text messages and all of that. There are so many ways. They have so many ways. Hopefully this sheds more light to help you be very careful with your information. One, they just play a game of random numbers. They try random numbers and one of it will walk through. Those times it's usually like an answering machine that will call you, and because it's trying out different random numbers, eventually will tell you, oh, now that it has connected to a real person, they would say press 1 to connect to someone. Then that one person, that after pressing that one, that person will now be the one to carry on the scam. But they have like a machine that is actually calling different random numbers. So that's one way they get your phone number. 2, job websites. So you're trying to apply for a job, you put all your resume with your full name, your address, your postal code, all of these details and your phone number, you put it on a job website. These scammers are also on that job website. They download all your personal information, they have your history, they know where you had previously worked, they know where you live right now, and they can target you for scam. So you want to be very careful. I always advise people, if you're applying for a job, don't put your full address there. If at all you want to put something close, maybe your postal code is okay, or at best just your city, that's fine. Anybody that is looking to hire you, if they know your city, that's okay with them to know the commute, or if at all they want to hire you, they don't need your full address to know it. Like the full address would come maybe when they're sending you the offer, but they don't need it in the preliminary stage of your employment process. Next is businesses with no privacy policy. You know how sometimes you're trying to buy something or you are online and they say put your email here for something. Then you put your email address or your phone number. Those people are selling your details sometimes. So how do you prevent that from happening? I would have like an email address that is for things like that. Just have an email address that you use for your personal information, your banking, your job search, your main email address, and have a secondary email that you can use for newsletter, shopping, all of those random things that you know that you're not so sure you can trust the privacy policy of those people, and put that kind of email address there. That would be my recommendation. And if at all someone is emailing you using that kind of email address, then you know that, oh, this email address doesn't tie to my bank, it doesn't tie to a job that I'm applying for. Then any email that is trying to scam me with this email address is probably fake. So that's another way that they could get your contact information. Identity theft is the next one. This is a very popular way that these fraudsters get access to your credit card information. So you know how you just go somewhere to want to buy something, you go to a Walmart and you try to make payment for it, you have to insert your credit card sometimes to make the payment. Those people have a schema on top of the machine that takes literally all the information on your credit card, and eventually you will also be punching your PIN. So now they've skimmed all the credit card numbers on your card, they also have your PIN, and they can use it to make purchases online or completely scam your account. So this is also something you want to be careful of. Another way these scammers get your contact information is literally from you. You know how you go online, sometimes you want to contact maybe Amazon, or you want to contact your bank, you want to contact some of these places. You go online and you just literally Google the phone number. You're saying, what is the phone number for Amazon, contact phone number for Amazon, and the first number that comes up, you just go ahead and call them. This is also a way that scammers get your information, because what these people have done is their SEO is very strong and good on their web page, such that if you Google anything or the contact for those companies, their page would be ranking on the top of Google, and they are not actually those companies, but they've put in a phone number there that they would channel to use to scam you. They have someone at the other end of the phone that is going to be ready to scam you. And I know this scam because a friend has been a victim of it. She saw an email or a text message saying a transaction was going out of account through PayPal, and she just called PayPal. She tried to Google the phone number, saw a phone number and called them there and then, and they said, hey, this is the case and we need, I think it was gift card they collected from her to reverse the transaction or to fix it, and she just keeps going and going and going. They scammed her more than $5,000 if I can remember correctly. So be very, very careful with your hard-earned money. Always remember, scammers are evolving their tactics every single day. They are finding new ways to perpetrate their scams. If you know any way that you've been a victim, or someone around you has been a victim, or you've just heard of it, please leave a comment below so that everyone can learn and beware of this kind of scams. So you want to be very, very careful. They evolve their tactics every single day. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Stay vigilant, trust your gut, ask questions. If you feel like something is off, then maybe you should ask someone else to take a look at it for you, or give it some time. If they are rushing you to make a decision there and then it's probably a scam. Be very careful again with your hard-earned money. Don't allow these people take advantage of you, and if anything ever happens, be sure to report to the authority as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.